Hello, I want to say good morning and hello to our listeners from around the world. I want to welcome you to our very brand new show, SOULIVITY Today, broadcasting live from Washington, D.C., the nation's capital, and on KMED 1490 AM radio. We are so glad you're here. Oh my gosh, been waiting a long time to actually do this kind of show with you where you can actually see us and feel us and be part of the action. But before I get to introducing the rest of our show, I want to make sure that we introduce our wonderful host for today, Sheila Applegate. Good morning, Sheila.
Good morning, Brian. This is exciting.
I'm like still kind of giddy. We had a little bit of technical difficulty this morning, but we decided to get through that and make sure that everything was perfect just for you guys. Well, first I'll ask you, Sheila, how was your weekend? Did you do anything incredible?
Oh, yeah. I had an awesome weekend. We did so many incredible things. I went to
So,
see the Barbie movie.
oh
I went
yeah,
to see the Barbie
yeah. So
movie,
how
and it
was
is
it?
excellent. It is really, really good, and I highly recommend it to people. It had,
Well,
you
yeah,
don't, yeah,
yeah.
I don't know if you saw the promo, but it says, if you love Barbie, this movie is for you. If you hate Barbie, this movie is for you. And it's true. Either way you go. Go. It said so much
Oh
about
man,
our world and things,
and
our society.
what a difference between that and the other movie that's in the news right now, which is Oppenheimer.
Yeah, I know that juxtaposition. They came out the same day and they both hit the, number one, or like, they were both like filled with people. So I didn't watch that one. Did you? Are you going to go see that?
I maybe when it comes out on cable,
Yeah,
I'm not like uh, really interested in seeing it like on the big screen. You know,
that's how I
I might
feel,
go see Barbie on the big screen just in case.
I mean, that was I'm always about the everything everywhere all at once in the big screen because it took you on
Oh
an
man,
emotional journey, but not in
yeah,
the way we're manipulated with a lot of television now. It's just
yeah,
this
yeah.
beautiful adventure journey. And this Barbie was the same way. Like I could feel it in my heart while I was
Aw.
watching it. And so yeah, I think it would be a good thing to see in
Oh
theaters.
man, that's okay. All right, so maybe okay. So now you changed my mind. Maybe I will see it now. I just want to remind everybody that listen, as part of this broadcast, we totally want you to be in on this. So if you have any questions, any comments, any thoughts, just post to our live feeds on our social media platforms where we are broadcasting from, and we will include you in today's session. Also, today's a wonderful day because today we are talking about motivational Monday stories. Just great stories from around the world. And because we want you to start your week off with positivity. And Sheila, I love the fact that you're here too because these are kind of stories that kind of warm your heart too. So I'm so glad
Yeah.
you're here.
I'm glad to be here too to kick off the new show.
Why don't we get to our first story? And our first story comes from the Washington Post. Two very important people walked Sherry Shaw James down the aisle at her wedding in June. Her oncologist, Emma B. Holliday, and Van Carl Morris. Having them there was a huge honor, Shaw James told the Washington Post. In February of 2021, Shaw James, 70, was diagnosed with stage 3 squamous cell carcinoma of the rectum. Wow. She began treatment at the University of Texas MD Anderson Center in Houston and quickly drew close to Holliday and Morris. We became partners through it, Shamesjaw said. Now, 4 months later, she was declared cancer free. And when her boyfriend proposed marriage, she said, of course, said yes, right? Sheila, of course, she's going to say yes. Um, Shaw James wanted her oncologist to play a role in the ceremony because without them and their hard work, there may not have been a wedding to celebrate. Both immediately agreed to be part of that big day. we get a lot of hard questions as oncologist, and but this was probably the easiest one to answer. Oh, that's so sweet. What do you think, Sheila? I mean, I can't think of a sweeter story between a doctor and their patient when it comes to, um, you know, their life, right?
Mhm. You know, it touched my heart, and I felt it personally because I know I've mentioned in the shows before that when I was young, with 2 young children, I had a blood disorder. So that's in the hematology oncology unit, right?
Hmm.
And so there's the doctor that saved my life the night that I went into the emergency room and then took me through that whole process. And he was my age, his kids were my kids' age, and we grew together because I had to go back there. I still go back once a year.
Oh,
He
wow.
just retired this year, and it felt like, this is like a one person who stood by me. Like, I only saw him once a year for a long time, but the love and the bond that's there when someone saves your life and they're open-hearted when they do it is incredible. So it made total sense to me, you know?
Oh, wow. I was thinking about my own health challenges from back in the day when the the relationships that I built with the doctors that were there. Because the couple of times I was in the hospital for a long time.
Mhm.
And I was thinking about, man, you do really get connected with the staff that's there. Because I mean, you're basically seeing them every single day, multiple times throughout the day. And I can only imagine in this situation where she was in stage 3 of this cancer. I mean,
Right. Right.
that's pretty tough. That's really
Mhm.
tough. And the fact that um, my guess is they were there throughout her treatments, probably went through like chemo and those kinds of things. Um, but I can only imagine that they're meeting her boyfriend, right? Because her boyfriend was probably there
Mhm. Right, he was
supporting
there too,
her,
thanks. Yeah.
and um, and that they all became kind of like family, you know.
Mhm.
And so I just thought that was beautiful. I really that one, I was looking at in terms of my own journey. I'm like, yeah, I think, yeah, I would be pretty warm and loving and that kind of thing where those people will become family and I would want them to be there.
Mhm.
So, wow.
Yeah, it is a really beautiful process when a doctor opens their heart, I think,
Yeah.
because I have other doctors that I don't know anything about them. We just go in, I'm just a number, you know?
Like, who are you and what have you done with my spleen or whatever? Um
Oh, they took that back in the day.
right, right. Right. Listen, everybody. This is how we're doing it today. And for our Motivational Monday storyline, we've got a lot more to come up. In our next story, we're going to bring you some news from the world of medicine about a new gene therapy that has shown promise in bringing some really great results to millions of people battling eye disease. So we're going to take a quick pause and we'll be back with more of SOULIVITY today in just a moment. SOULIVITY today is brought to you by Happy Travelers Tours and Old Vine Wine Tours. find all of the Satana products at our Go shop at go.solivity.com.
Have you ever asked the question, if I was to be anything, what would I be? Regardless of money, regardless of status, beyond popularity and fame. Living your passion, feeling your life has purpose. Solivity is a space to nurture that which lives in all of us. A place where work can become play, and doing what we love creates the dreams of a lifetime.
Oh, yeah. Welcome to Solivity Today. This is beautiful Washington, D.C. And I can't wait to tell you more about our great Motivational Monday show with Sheila Applegate. Hey, Sheila.
Hello.
Again, we've got some great topics here. Want to get to our second story here, and this comes from the Associated Press. And this is about an experimental gene therapy gel that has worked wonders for Antonio Vinto Carvajal. And doctors are hopeful similar therapies could help millions of other people battling eye diseases. Carvajal, of 14, has a rare genetic condition, and about 3,000 people worldwide have this same disorder, which causes blisters on the body and eyes. Now, Carnival underwent several eye surgeries to remove the scar tissue, but it continued to grow back and his vision deteriorated. He joined a clinical trial at Verjavec, the world's first topical gene therapy, and his physician, Dr. Alfonso Sabater, also had the treatment reformulated into eye drops for him. And then after several months, the scarring had not returned and his vision is improving tremendously. It took 2 years to get to this point, and it was all well worth it, Sabater told the Associated Press. Just in time for Antonio, it was worth it, and because it opens the space to treat other patients in the future. Wow.
Mm,
Yeah, amazing.
yeah.
Amazing. Um, I was reading too about this story that um, Sheila, that this also could lead to breakthroughs for other people who have eye disease,
Mhm.
that where they're thinking that this in the future could lead to some cures for diseases that cause blindness. So
Mhm.
important work. Any
Yeah.
thoughts when you read this one?
It's well, I have two different areas that I was thinking about, but we'll jump from what you just said. My youngest child, when they were in high school, worked at a pharmaceutical biochemistry lab and were actually published in a paper about um, proteins and the effect that it could have in healing macro degeneration, another eye disease. And so I'm like, I wonder if this is related or how it's moving forward. But I do know it's exciting to kind of look back at that because it's now been like 7 years since then. And to think about what we could see and anticipate was coming for the healing of eye disease is now really here and in clinical trials. That's pretty exciting.
Yeah, I mean, we talked to, I think was it last week we talked about um uh that in Africa in terms of AIDS, and that
Hmm.
they're making tremendous progress in not only identifying AIDS early, but treating it early and then maintaining what I think what's called a zero count in terms of the disease reoccurring and getting having people go thing that get die or get really ill. And now you're having this gene therapy where it's helping people uh, get through a disease that really would have them go blind, or at least
Right.
temporarily. I thought that was
And it
cool.
all fits in the amount of transformation that we're having in this world when it comes to our ability to treat things is just exponential. And when we add to it the RNA technique that was um, discovered or worked out because of
Hmm.
COVID, how we could do the vaccines, that opens up a whole arena for healing in
Oh
many
man,
different areas, including cancer. So there's just so much on the horizon when it comes to this.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I cannot wait for the future in terms of medicine. Um, um, it just seems as though um, in the last couple of decades, there's just been so much advancement when it comes to technology and what we're doing. I will also say this: I think that you know, spiritually speaking, Sheila, there's been a shift there too around how
Hmm.
we're even looking at how people um, are relating to the medical field, and there's been this shift towards you know uh, holistic health, right?
Hmm.
Which I think also plays a role in this.
Yeah.
So, just wanted to kind of throw that out there too.
Integrative, right? I think there's more integrative where we use, I am an energy healer, so I
Yeah,
believe in that as well.
yeah,
There is a dichotomy where some energy healers don't want anything to do with the medical industry as it is
hmm,
today. But to me, especially having a child in, studying biochemistry and hearing it from that perspective, I get really excited when we combine the two. And I think that as a society, we realize that, if you're coming it from a spiritual perspective, creator created everything, right? If you're looking at
right,
God or creator. And so
exactly.
science is part of that, and that's okay. We're not enemies with each other.
Exactly. And it's funny because what was it Angels and Demons, the movie
Hmm.
where the Catholic Church and all that kind of thing, and they had the argument around science versus this, and that kind of deal, and it's like there's enough room for it all to coexist, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
I think what happens is that there's the greed and the capitalism and all that kind of stuff gets in the way, right? Instead of
Right, but
just
that's getting in the way of every part of our society,
ex,
right?
ex,
That is an issue, but it's separate from these. Yeah.
I'm thinking of another show now. I'm really thinking of
Oh, I'm on for a show about capitalism. A world without capitalism. Can you imagine?
reformed economics. Listen,
Yeah.
everybody, we're going to take another quick break. And when we come back, we'll bring you some great news about two pen pals that are reunited after 30 years. And I have to say this part, and it feels so good. See, I had to put that part in there. All right, we'll be right back, everybody. Hi there. This is Brian with solivity.com. I want to share some exciting news about our new Aspire Academy by Solivity. Now, you probably want to know what the Aspire Academy by Solivity is. Well, it exclusively connects you with people around the globe and who share the intense desire to improve themselves and create a better life for themselves today. There's classes, there's workshops, there's live events, and even more exclusively just for you. You see, I wanted you to have a safe space where you could grow, you can learn, and it would empower you in all aspects of your life, including your mind, your body, and your soul. So, how do you get started? Well, it is so easy. First of all, the best part,
Joining Aspire Academy is absolutely free. Just click on the Join Now button, sign up, and begin your journey. As a special part of this invitation to you, there are some free courses that are available for you to try from our amazing roster of coaches and collaborators. It's our way of saying thank you for all of your support and being with us along our journey of expansion. I hope you enjoyed the Aspire Academy by Soulivity today. Start the process. Learn more about your passion, your purpose, and how to live a higher quality life.
And back with more of Living Today. And this is our very special Motivation Monday show with my beautiful co host, Sheila Applegate. Hey, Sheila.
Hey there.
Hey there. Hey there.
Hey there.
Listen, let's get to our next story, which comes from Mothership Publication. For 10 years, Julie Kelly exchanged letters with a pen pal from Singapore, a young man with the surname Chang. She wrote about her life in the U.S. while Chang shared his plans for college. This was an opportunity to learn more about the world through another person. This is from Kelly, who was 55, who told the Singapore's news outlet Mothership. Their letter writing ended in 1994 when Kelly got married and Chang got a job. They fell out of touch, but Kelly never forgot Chang, and in February found a box filled with 34 letters he sent her. Wanting to reconnect, Kelly tried to find Chang online but had no luck. Mothership journalist Ashley Tan heard about Chang's search and went to Chang's last known address. She found his mother, who passed along her son's information. Chang was very surprised to hear from Tan, he said, and was very touched by Kelly's determination to find him. He immediately wrote her an email, a modern way to revive their pen pal friendship. Oh. Wow.
Yeah,
Have you
that's
ever done something
sweet.
like that? Uh,
Well, I had an exchange student. I did an exchange in high school with England. We went to England and then they came here. And I connected to, and I've talked about it in other shows here on Solivity, but I connected to a soulmate, a dear
mm,
soul sister. That was probably my first experience, not knowing what it was back then, but the bond was so strong.
wow.
And we did stay connected first through letters and then through emails. And she ended up passing early, but we still stay connected in spirit. But I see the
Gotcha.
bond in it. And I also felt the nostalgia, right? Because now it's so
Ah,
common to
yeah.
have to know. I mean, I know people all over the world, and I'm, working with them, deeply connected to them now because of the internet. But it is nostalgic to look back during that time frame when they were letters, and there's still
Right.
a bond. It's special in that way. Yeah.
Exactly. I'm wondering whether or not he said Chang was very surprised to hear from Tan, um, this journalist who actually put them back into connection with each other. Um, if he thought he would ever hear from her again.
Well, right, because in the article, it talked about how she lost connection with her mom. Something happened, and so
Oh,
he was writing to her for many years, and she never received them
right, right.
until she went into the house, I think, after her mom died and found them all. Um, so he probably did think she was dead or something. Like, why, you know, he he had that he wrote for so long after she wasn't receiving, so there was definitely a bond. And yet to go that many years later and have her show up, it would be cool to see a follow-up to see if they stay
Yeah.
connected, if they feel like friends still as they meet up, if it feels like they pick up where they left off or what,
Exactly. And to let you guys know too, I mean, we'll put some of these. We're going to be putting some of these links in our chats so that you guys can read. But um, they wrote long letters to each other. I mean, these weren't, and not like the romantic pen pal. I mean, that kind of thing. It was more deep friendship. It's like you're talking to your friend over the phone or
Mhm.
whatever. But they were long, well written, I would say, as well. But they were so
Especially from him. I mean, we only saw his letters.
yeah,
It always
yeah.
surprised me. I feel like here in the English speaking world, we just take it for granted that the rest of the world will speak our language,
It was really, really heartwarming. To the last. Did you read the last words that from the
Ah,
letter that before it was in 1994, um, um, where I guess Kelly was getting married and she invited him to the wedding,
what
but he wasn't able to attend because of his first job, and that he just couldn't make it. But um, not only did he write back and wrote in cursive. I mean, Sheila, when was the last time you wrote a letter in cursive? I can't even. Mine would probably look like chicken scratch. Um, but his last words were, "You're something special, someone who I've grown up with and yet never met in person. Best wishes to you and Jeff. I love you."
That's so beautiful.
I mean, yeah. And then 30 years later, they
They
um
reconnect.
they reconnect. Um, just to let people know too, she wrote 34 letters in total during that time, and I guess he responded back, so it's got to be between 30 and 35, somewhere around there. So this
But
wasn't
then
just a
he
couple
kept
of
writing on the years when she stopped, so he probably
ex-
wrote a lot more.
exactly, just to let her know how
Yeah.
he was doing and that kind of thing. Um, amazing, amazing. I
Yeah.
love those kind of stories. This is, this is where I love it, where they were writing with pen and paper and using the technology of the time, but now they have email, so they and web cameras and all this kind of stuff,
Right.
so they literally can build on the friendship that they had 30 years ago, and even be closer, without
Right.
without waiting for, like, my guess is, Sheila, it took weeks for those letters to come through.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Back then, when we would write, it was at least a week or something usually. Yeah. And then when I was staying in England in college, it was definitely a week delay, at least between when my family would send me a letter and I would receive it. So, yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I remember I had I would wrote to some people who were in college and that kind of thing, because back then we didn't have email yet,
Right.
and phones, and if you were going to call somebody, you had to have a calling plan. Remember that?
Or go to the
You know,
payphone in the hallway of the
oh
dorm
my
was when I
gosh,
first started.
oh man, the payphone. I just saw a movie recently about that, and I was like, yeah, I remember those days. You had to get some change to put it in the payphone, and
Right.
then I thought it was the coolest thing in the world when I went to Europe, and you're seeing the swipe, right? You could swipe your
Oh,
card, or your, like,
right.
remember you
Yeah.
could swipe your long distance card through it,
Oh, right.
and
They
then it
were
would.
not even your debit cards. Yeah.
No, it's just your long distance
You
card,
bought
and
a
it would.
long distance card. Yeah. That's funny. I know
Things have
when my
changed.
kids were teens, we went to see a waterfall nearby and there's a payphone still there. And like they jumped out to see
Wow.
the payphone like this was some relic that they hadn't experienced. So wild.
Hilarious. Oh man, having a ball on a Monday is the best. And
Yeah,
this is how we do
start
it here.
every day like that.
Right. This is how we are doing our motivational Monday. So, listen, we're going to take another quick break. And when we come back, we'll bring you some more great news. But this time, we'll be talking about one of my favorite animals in the whole
Mm.
wide world, giraffes. So, we'll be back in about 2 minutes, everybody. Take care. Solivity Today is brought to you by Assume control over your weight and broader health with the 80 Bites program by Physical Mind Institute.
Are you ready to take that first step towards true, unwavering inner happiness? Are you like thousands of people who have everything they need, not want, but need, and still can't seem to find happiness and fulfillment in their lives? If so, the Steps to Happiness show is for you. On my show, you will learn about the principles and practices that lead to true inner happiness. Because guess what? It isn't found in our external environment, but within ourselves instead. Together with my guests, we will explore the latest physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being practices. And together, we'll advise you on the actionable steps you can take towards a happier, more fulfilled, authentic life. So I invite you to join me each week on SOULIVITY TV on the Steps to Happiness show with me, Teresa Greco.
6 years ago, when I started SOULIVITY, my vision was to support everyone in improving their life through the discovery of their passion and purpose so they could become the best version of themselves, to battle fear and ignorance and create a better world today. Get inspired to live your passion and purpose. Visit solivity.com now.
Oh, it's such a beautiful, beautiful day in New York City. And we're back with more of This Morning with Solivity, broadcasting live from Washington, D.C. and on KMET 1490 AM radio. Oh, man, such a great, great motivational Monday. I'm joined by my great and wonderful guest here, Sheila Applegate. Thank you, Sheila, for being here. Man, I love that last story. That kind of, I'm still thinking about the whole pen pal thing. Kind of warms my heart. But let's get to our last, unfortunately, our last motivational Mondays for today. And this story comes from The Guardian. For the first time in decades, native giraffes have a home inside of Angolia's national parks. Last week, 7 male and female Angolan giraffes were moved from a private game farm in Nambia to the Iona National Park in Angola. The Angolan Civil War devastated wildlife, and it's believed that there haven't been Angolan giraffes inside the country's national parks since the 1990s. Several organizations decided it was safe to reintroduce the giraffes to their homeland, and the government of Angola, African Parks, and the Giraffe Conservation Foundation and the WIS Foundation came together to make it happen. A lot of planning goes into giraffe translocations, and it took more than 2 years to plot and then execute the move. With its success, everyone involved is hopeful this translocation is the first of many. It is great seeing a species back where it should be. And back where it should be. The Iona National Park manager Pedro Montesorosos told The Guardian, "It's a message of hope for conservation in this country." Wow, told you I love giraffes. Man, again, this is something that's again, I didn't know that there was as many conservation efforts as there has been going on in the country in regards to species coming back, like doing efforts to make that species that are surviving. I mean, we a couple weeks ago we talked about the First Nation people that live near the Hamptons that are doing that. They're building sea kelp farms to help
Mhm.
clean the ocean so that the wildlife that needs the ocean and the waters around there, can survive. And in the last 5 or 10 years, it's been working. And so to see this in Africa, happening, it just warms my heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the beautiful thing that I see in that, and when you talk about the kelp as well, we each have our own passions and the things that we, like you love giraffes
Yeah.
and you love, bringing messages and enhancing people's lives. But the people who worked at this and spent the time to figure out exactly how, there were so many people that their hearts are really in it and dedicated to this type of a move. So
Yeah.
I think that's really powerful. And to me, it's like a message that when you follow what you're passionate about, you follow what, you're drawn to. Because I know as much as I love giraffes, I couldn't have spent my years, getting draft
Right.
feathers to go
I
home.
resemble that remark.
But
Yeah.
somebody can, and it takes so many different people. There's such an intricate plan, and even the transportation of them. Um, so if we all follow what we're passionate about, I just think that we can improve the world so much quicker and better.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, what my heart got triggered in different thoughts with this one, which
Mm.
is interesting because I thought about these giraffes that just got taken because they're all young, not super young, but
Yeah.
they're all the same age. They're all young. They're getting taken away from their family, from what they knew.
Yeah.
But then when we think about that, they were just in a farm or like an animal reserve thing, and now they're free. And I'm sure they're resilient and they're going to be watched over. But there's so many layers. As humans, we're the best at destroying, but we might be also the only ones that are trying to fix things in this way. And
Right.
there's just lots of thoughts that I can take down that.
You,
But
you
instead,
know,
I'm going to focus on the love,
right. And that's okay. I mean, part of our journey is it's complicated sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Where um there's the military coup that's happening in Nairobi. Is it Nairobi? I'm trying to remember.
I think so.
There's a military coup happening in an African country, and if there has been some fighting and that kind of thing, but if it turns into a broad civil war, what does that do to the
Mhm.
wildlife and the environment and all that kind of thing? Because they're chased out of their natural habitats because of all that kind of stuff, right?
Right. And
So
that's how
what
the
happens? And that's
giraffes
what happened here, right?
yeah. Yeah. So yeah, that's the other piece, that it was war that took them away. So it is healing to bring them back. My heart just goes out for these little ones. And so now I know about it. And now I can do my thing, which is energy work and healing. So I'm going to be sending
Yeah.
them lots of light.
Exactly. And again, we're going to post these stories in our chats to make sure that people know more about them. But this is, I mean, it's again, there is good news happening in the world, people. It's
Mhm.
why we do this show. It's why we're bringing this information to you. And and that everything is not lost. We don't, though we can be cynical sometimes. um we don't have to be, or we don't have to stay in cynicism, right? um Again, this is a story where over a few decades, uh especially in this story, you've got these giraffes that are now going to have a beautiful place to live, and they're protected, right? They're protected
Mhm.
by
Right.
by layers of government agencies that are willing to support this process. My guess is that's not the only species that's there in that state park, or that
Mhm.
that national park. So way to go, folks. Way to go. Listen, we're going to take another quick break. And when we come back, we'll have more with SOULIVITY Today. We'll be right back.
Hi there, Sheila Applegate here with some exciting news. I've joined the incredible SOULIVITY team as the host of the new Consciously Awesome live show, where I will be sharing insights to help you discover your full brilliance and claim the vibrant life you deserve. So tune in every Wednesday right here on SOULIVITY TV to join the fun, and remember to subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss a single episode. Have an awesome week, and I will see you on Wednesday.
Have you ever asked the question, if I was to be anything, what would I be? Regardless of money, regardless of status, beyond popularity and fame. Living your passion, feeling your life has purpose. SOULIVITY is a space to nurture that which lives in all of us. A place where work can become play, and doing what we love creates the dreams of a lifetime.
Oh, beautiful picture of Los Angeles there, live this morning. I guess that people are waking up there, Sheila, and maybe they're doing a little surfing.
There was a
while they're out
couple
there.
awake.
Listen, we've only got a few more minutes. I love the fact that we did this show today. I always get a little warm when we're talking about things that are like positive in our world, instead of talking about all the horrible stuff. Again, I mean, that stuff happens, right? But I guess to a certain degree, we don't have to like delve in it and be in it all the time. And so here with SOULIVITY Today, we're going to try to, with a little help from my friends like Sheila, we're going to try to make your life a little bit better with some more empowerment kind of news. Speaking of empowerment, Sheila, we've got some great shameless plugs for you that and others that we want to kind of talk about. And so where do you want to begin?
We'll begin with my soul connection sessions. So if you're listening here today and you're interested in a session with me to provide insight to enhance your relationships, career, health by accessing wisdom directly from source, then you can join me on this journey, and we can include a conscious meditation and me opening to your spirit guides, receive affirmations, and answer your questions as you strengthen your relationship with your loved ones and your spirit guides. So with the code SOUL23 as a SOULIVITY Today listener, you can get $44 off your first session. And you can find me at SheilaApplegate.com for that.
Wow.
And then,
Yep.
And then, should I keep going?
Yeah, keep going.
All right, we have Fractal Illumination coming up, and Fractal Illumination is featured in an internationally best-selling oracle of energy healing, which is exciting. It is a energy experience that we brought in from Spirit, and it's on August 12th in Marcellus, New York, which is near Syracuse. There is a way for you to receive this long distance, and what it is it's an energy activation that allows you to harmonize with all the chaos in our world right now. You maybe have noticed that things are getting more, well, time is getting stranger, things are speeding up, everything's amplified right now. And this helps you to adjust to those new frequencies so that life is smooth and easier. So come check that out.
I love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. I think while we got some time left, I was thinking that, we kind of talk about other stuff that's going to be coming on with over our next shows. We've got great celebrity makeup artist Sam Fine, who's going to be on tomorrow. Amazing guy. Just he's done makeup for a lot of the big people. Vanessa L. Williams, I think Queen Latifah. He's worked with people like Iman and Naomi Campbell, and so he's going to be talking about his journey and the things that he learned along the way, and hopefully share some tips with us about how to create this natural beauty that he talks about, just a natural looking beauty. I think a lot of times people think when they're applying makeup that it's the amount that they're putting on and a little bit about the way, but it's a combination of both. And products too. So he's going to be talking to us about that. Man, I think we're coming to an end here, Sheila. With things that are going on. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being on the show with me today. Kind of debuting our first show ever for SOULIVITY Today.
That's pretty exciting. I think I was on the first show of this morning with SOULIVITY. And
oh man, I think
and now we're on the
right.
first.
I think you're right.
We got a pattern going here, but this one's going to stay a long time.
Well, listen, before we get out of here, I just want to remind people. Sheila, any final thoughts from you before we get out of here?
I'm just, like we said, I'm happy to be here. I love that, we do see chaos and complication in our world, and it is always important to also look for the joy, look for the stories that inspire us, and to remember that there's always good going on, is even in the chaos that we're seeing.
Yeah, absolutely. 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 And so with that, I'm going to say on behalf of all of us, thank you for joining us for SOULIVITY Today. Of course, we hope that you come back and join us every weekday at 8 a.m. Eastern for our live broadcast on SOULIVITY TV, where you can also watch us at 8 a.m. Pacific time on KMET 1490 AM radio and online at KMET. Listen, until next time, keep having real conversations with passion and purpose. And of course, we're wishing you a life full of high quality living today. We'll see you next time. Bye for now. This work is subject to copyright owned by Affinity Global LLC. Any reproduction or republication of all or part of this is expressly prohibited unless Affinity Global LLC has explicitly granted its prior written consent. All other rights reserved.